Hello, everybody. More sports talk from Mr. Big Skiz. I don't know why the hell I call myself that. I've had this YouTube channel since like 2010, and I've just been doing music stuff for years because I like music and I play guitar and pretty good. But I love sports. I used to write a little bit about sports, but nowadays I don't really have the patience to actually write. And I'm also a perfectionist when I write, and it kind of becomes a pain in the ass to try to actually finish an article. So I figure start uploading stuff on YouTube and see where it goes. So this video is about the Ben Simmons situation and how it relates to the bigger discussion about mental health. I guess I feel some type of I feel strongly about this situation because I've kind of dealt with, mental health issues. Not really any worse than the average person, but, I've dealt with depression and, I'm not a naturally social person. There's a part of me that wants to be more social, but then there's also a part of me that's like, it's almost like being antisocial is part of my personality. So I don't want to change it. So I understand that mental health, it manifests in all types of ways, and you can't always see it on the surface. Like, I'm the type of person that if you haven't known me that long, you probably wouldn't think I'm dealing with anything because I don't really show it on the surface, but, and yeah, it used to be a lot worse. I've been seeing a therapist for about 7-8 years, a little less than that, probably about 7 years I've been seeing a therapist. And it's been very helpful. I remember, before I ever saw a therapist, it wasn't really something I was really into, but eventually I decided to do it. And just having somebody to talk to makes a big difference. And, it helps you learn how to deal with your issues. It lets you understand that, okay, like, everybody's dealing with something, and you still have to live your life. You still have to figure out some way to be happy. And it's tough, but ultimately, at least the way I look at it, I don't know if I learned this from therapy, but like, I've always looked at my life and thought like, man, like, there's so many people dealing with worse. The amount of money that I have is not a lot, but there's people in third world countries that are struggling. There's people now in Ukraine that are going through a hell on earth right now. And so my life compared to those people's, it couldn't be better. But this is essentially where my issue with Ben Simmons comes into play. I firmly believe that there are issues he's going through in terms of his mental health. That he probably has a lot of anxiety. He probably feels like a failure and doesn't want to, embarrass himself and further the narrative that he's a failure. That's, my read of the situation. And on a human level, I respect that. But here's the thing. One thing that my dad, rest in peace, one thing he taught me was if somebody's paying you something, no matter what you're going through, if you try to weasel your way into a situation where you can get paid but not have to work, you're a piece of garbage. And essentially, it's like everybody's going through stuff. That, as far as I'm concerned, that's never an excuse to get out of doing your job. Now, I was thinking about this, and something that popped into my mind, and I thought back to when CC Sabathia, I think, I might be remembering this wrong, but what I remember was that he didn't play in a playoff game one year for the Yankees because he went to rehab for drinking. And at the time, I kind of hated on it. I was like, you let the team down. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I respect the honesty there. That's a guy who's like, look, man, I'm not in a good state of mind. I'm probably not going to be able to help the team. And I was like, if he didn't tell anybody and went out on the mound and stunk it up and then people found out after the fact, that would have looked terrible. So I respected it. And so that's why in the Ben Simmons situation, I kind of want to give him the benefit of the doubt. But then when you start looking at some of his past actions, it's hard. When he was trying to get traded before and he said he wanted to go to a California team, his reasoning was, I'm a young socialite. I'm not a socialite. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're living a life that many people fantasize about. That doesn't mean it's perfect, But there's a lot of people that are dealing with the same mental situation, issues you're dealing with, but have a fraction of the money you have. Can't find women, struggling with all kinds of things. Like, you have an amazing life, regardless of what you think. And so when I look at him, it's like, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but all I keep thinking is he just couldn't face the Philly crowd. And I'm like, dude, like, I don't know. I can't put myself in his shoes. I played sports in high school, but I was never an elite athlete. Nobody ever was interested in me to play any kind of sports professionally. I probably could have played D3 football if I wanted to, but at that time, I really was just too lazy to try to play sports. I did play a year of rugby, of D1 rugby at UConn, so I can technically say I played college sports, but that was literally just to get in shape, and that was a club team, so, I quit because I was playing a sport where literally I'm crashing my head into other people and could die. I've seen people, get knocked out on the field right next to me, and it's a club sport, the same classification as ultimate frisbee. We had to we had to pay for our own uniforms and travel, it was that type of situation. Had to pay $3,000 a semester to potentially die. I was like, I'm not doing it no more. But that's just a total sidebar. The reality is that with Ben Simmons, it's like, you got to find a way to deal with it, but also do your job. Even if you're on the court and you stink it up, I think, after everything you were going through, some fans would have at least, some Philly fans, maybe not all of them, it would have been tough at first, but if you were out there and trying and still stinking it up, but actually giving effort, a lot of those fans would have forgiven you because they're human beings and they're frustrated. It's like the same thing, as a Knicks fan, the way I feel about Julius Randle right now. I'm totally done with the guy right now because he's totally gone into the tank, but it's like, mentally, in terms of, booing the fans. Like, how are you going to give the fans a thumb down, right after the Mets pulled that crap and got killed for it? Like, do you not understand what town you're in? But it's the same thing with what the Lakers did, cursing out their own fans a few nights ago. It's like, dude, those fans love you, but they don't know you personally. They come to the crowd, they come to the game because they want to be entertained. And they're paying a lot of money. I know, as a New York, as a New York Knicks fan, I've never been to Madison Square Garden because I can't afford the damn tickets. I've been to Barclays before because the tickets were a lot cheaper. So it's like, if I actually paid money to go into that damn stadium, I want to have a good experience. So, that's why if a drunk Charles Oakley's next to me screaming, I fully support him getting kicked. I don't care what he did for the Knicks. I'm trying to enjoy my game now because guess what? I paid goddamn an arm and a leg to watch a garbage team. My experience better be next level. But this is about mental health. I don't know what the hell I'm turning this video into. Ben, get your life together. It's gonna be okay. Hopefully the Nets work out, but it's like, dude, this is the honeymoon period right now. Eventually, they're gonna be in the playoffs and trying to win a championship. And if you come up small, then those fans are gonna turn on you too. You gotta stop caring so much about what these fans think about you. A lot of fans are assholes and do too much. And I get it. Like when fans dump crap on Russell Westbrook and stuff, that's obviously wrong. But just getting booed by a fan base that's paying your salary is not, you can't get upset about that. I'm sorry. And listen, I respect the hell out of LeBron, but he's the biggest diva in sports. I don't necessarily feel that way about Ben Simmons. I just think he's just a little bit mentally soft. And, I hate to sound like an old head because I'm not. I'm 32. Back in the day, you just called that being soft. Now it has to be a mental illness. So, again, if that's the case, I'd like to actually hear that from a doctor or not from him because as we know, everybody self-diagnoses themselves. Ben, you got to get a little bit mentally tougher. And we'll see what happens when he comes out on the court. If he comes out on the court and starts just tearing it apart, then I'll eat my words. But I think we all know what's happening. And it's just kind of funny that a lot of people who are covering this are afraid to say that he's faking mental health issues. I'm not saying he's faking it, but he very well might be. And I don't really think that if he's not faking it and it's real, it's not nearly as severe as he's making it out to be. This guy has a very good life. On the surface, it's better than mine. But look, like I said, I'm depressed about a lot of things, but ultimately I'm still pretty happy because I'm able to kind of look at the good things and be like, you know what? this is something, the fact that I play guitar, the fact that, I can, analyze sports, the fact that I coached, as an assistant high school football coach for 5 years. These are all things that I'm proud of. And it's like, Ben Simmons was a number 1 overall pick in the NBA. So that's something you should be proud of, dude. So I'm not rooting for you because you play for a rival team. Go Knicks. The Nets can go screw. But on a human level, I don't want you to be depressed. Just, how about you look at your life and stop buying mansions for no reason? ESPN broke 2050. Ben Simmons is going to be the star.